Before we start the program proper, kindly mute yourself when you're not speaking. However, do have your video switch on. We love to see your beautiful faces. And I'm sure your warm smile will encourage our speakers this afternoon. Sure. This afternoon, we'd like to acknowledge our appointment holder, our Zoom master, Kathleen, and also the program coordinator, Distinguished Toastmaster, Terence Nunes. And of course, a very warm welcome to District Director, Kathy To, and all the senior officers. You know, I've been hibernating in my own camp, my own club for the longest time. So many of these officers, I'm sorry, I don't quite know who is in which division, but I warmly welcome all the senior officers, right? Welcome, welcome all of you. Glad you are with us. Wave hands, no need to be blue. Welcome to you. Welcome to the 4th session of the Leadership Incubator program. Mooted by Division G, the brainchild of the immediate past Division Director, Terence Nunes, in collaboration with Division S and E. We promise an afternoon of enriching learning experience, filled with laughter, songs, and cheers. After all, 'tis the season to be jolly. La 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 la. By the way, I am Linda Lee from AIA Toastmasters Club, and I'm gonna be your host this afternoon. Now that everyone is settled in, cheery and happy, we can start the program proper. First up, hey, I knew her when she was in kindergarten, while I was at primary level in the School of Toastmasters. She went on to the Express class, and she will soon graduate with the coveted title, Distinguished Toastmaster, while I'm still struggling at junior college. Margaret is a financial services consultant with AIA Singapore, advising her clients on wealth protection and wealth accumulation trusted through generations. Her connection with Toastmasters was accidental, but her resolve to serve is intentional. Her motivation is to seek fulfillment by giving back and seeding a new generation. Wow, very lofty. Proficient in innovative planning and strategic relationship, please help me to welcome Division G Director and the past president of AIA Toastmasters Club, Margaret Low. Over to you, Margaret.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Linda Lee. Indeed, where is that kindergarten kid today? She sits here before you, humbled by the many experiences, but she's only able to get here because all the giants in this room put her on your shoulders to elevate her, to be able to equip her, to be able to serve in her capacity today. Fabulous afternoon to all, past and present district officers, immediate past Region 13 Advisor, Distinguished Toastmaster, Ho Kim Seong, District Director, Kathy To, District Finance Manager, Nora B. Most of all, to our leaders seated in this room, present leaders, future leaders, fellow Toastmasters. Leaders are not born, they are made. We hear this many times throughout this series of workshops. But how are these leaders made? They are made, they are dependent on the myriad of situations that the people around them. In Toastmasters, it is a part of our journey to identify our own leadership style and understand how we interact with people and how it affects people. With the knowledge of the context of situations and skills to drive your team in a strategic direction that you want, you can turn the situation around to your advantage. The intent of this series of workshops, the Leadership Incubator, is to seed a generation of leaders in 3 areas. 1, these leaders who has a deep awareness of their own strength. 2, to identify and build a team of influential leaders. 3, achieve sustainable drive to carry on that zenith vision for generations to come. Seated here today is this new generation of leaders, and you form the epicenter of change in the near future. We believe that there are members in your team that has yet to discover themselves. You can help them realize their true potential. In today's workshop, you will hear from 2 of the most experienced Toastmasters in District 80, who has coached and built successful teams comprising of members with a diversity of culture, educational background, and interests. We encourage you to cut through that kaleidoscope landscape, keeping your mind and your heart open when you seek out those potential leaders. Start building your team today. I look forward to a fulfilling and fruitful learning experience for all of us. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, M. Now, she is fondly called M in our club. Thank you for
known as.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that timely and stirring message to spur us on. Up next, we have our past international director, immediate past Region 13 advisor, and the recipient of the acclaimed Presidential Citation 2019. For those of you who are not aware, the Presidential Citation is presented to members who have shown continuous support and dedication to the organization. He believes in empowering people, building exceptional teams, and making right choices so that we all can live life to the fullest. And I totally echo that. Please help me to welcome distinguished Toastmaster Paul Kim Seong. Over to you.
Thank you, our Toastmaster Linda, to our District Director Katito, to our Division G Director Margaret, fellow Toastmaster and friend, good afternoon. And just now when Margaret and Linda, right, when Linda started off singing, right, I got my heart pumping very fast because I cannot sing as good as Linda. But it is all right because when Margaret said, Toastmaster where leaders are made. And the most important thing is, do you understand what is our brand promise? Do you understand what is our brand promise for Toastmaster? Maybe let's hear from my brother, Gerald Young. Do you know what's the brand promise of Toastmaster International? Gerald, are you there? Or maybe Gerald, do you know what's the brand promise for Toastmaster?
Brand promise.
Yes.
The brand. Where leaders are made.
Okay, that's why today.
Is that what you mean?
No. Today I'm sharing with you, right? The tagline of Toastmaster International is where leaders are made. But the brand promise is empowering individuals through personal and professional development.
I see. Yes. Thank you.
And if you go through the whole Toastmaster Pathway program, right, it's supporting this where leaders are made in our leadership journey. And I'm very grateful where Division G spearhead this leadership incubator together with Division S and Division E. And you put these 3 division letters together, right? It stands for Great Service Excellence. And the most important thing is, if you understand the whole pathway program, it always starts this thing called self-leadership. You have to develop yourself through personal presentation mastery to pick out all your communication skill and develop your leadership potential through leadership development path. After you master all this, you proceed on leading others, where you start to lead your club, your area, your divisions, and eventually you lead the district. What Toastmaster International aspire you to do is to lead organization, not just leading in Toastmaster. You must grow your potential, able you to lead different kind of organization. Who knows? You may lead a non-profit organization, your company, or you even set up a business. So it's a very comprehensive program, starting off leading yourself, self-leadership, move on to leading others, and eventually leading the organization. So if you really go in depth of different paths of Toastmaster, like for example, visionary communication, this is basically prepare you to lead organization. So spend some time to understand pathway, and I'm very happy Division G, S, and E come out with this leadership incubator to develop our leaders. Because once you start these activities, you are going to develop more potential leaders to lead District 80, to lead our community. And in turn, when all these leadership skills develop, you make this world a better world for you and for me. And this is the wonderful afternoon where we have Siva and Susan to share with us their leadership experience, and enjoy this session. With that, I hand the control to our singer, our Toastmaster of the day, Linda. Over to you, Linda.
Thank you, Kim Seong. Okay, I just can't help it. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. Wow! Kim Seong, thank you for opening up my horizon, widen my vision, and deepen my conviction. Thank you so much. Up next, our first keynote speaker. He is a management consultant with 20 years of people engagement experience at senior executive level. He is a certified trainer with the Advanced Certificate in Training and Assessment, or ACTA in short, an executive mentor, a life coach. The title of his speech or his talk is Beginning with the End in Mind. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. When you read, you begin with A, B, C. When you sing, you begin with Do, Re, Mi. Yes, are we ready to learn the ABCs and the Do, Re, Mi's of leadership? I'm sure we are ready. Now, he is proficient in effective coaching and motivational strategies. But of course, please help me to welcome our speaker, Sivanesan Muragayan. Muragayan, yay! Over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for spending this afternoon listening to me. I hope I can add value to your leadership experiences that you already have. I thank you for being able to participate. And I like to make this speech a bit interactive. So whenever I ask a question, kindly unmute yourself and do participate and answer my questions. I'll appreciate that. So first, I'd like to ask, what is the Toastmasters' end goal or purpose? Can any of you unmute yourself and answer? I'd like to see you. Can I hear one of you answer this question, at least one? Doesn't matter if you are right or wrong. Linda, maybe you can answer this.
You the one. Okay. Isn't it like what Kim Seong earlier on mentioned about the brand promise, empowering personal and professional development?
Okay. Well, the Toastmasters' end goal is actually glaring at you with this slide that I'm showing to you. Maybe you can read off the line below.
Okay, where leaders are made.
Yes, that's right. But when you ask a new member, when he joins the club, why did you join Toastmasters? What kind of answer do you get? Anybody here?
Become a better speaker.
Overcome the fear
Yes,
of speaking.
yes, that's right. That's what they normally say, because they want to learn how to speak. What they are really trying to tell us is that they want to learn the communication skills to become effective leaders. That is what actually they have in mind. This is the ultimate unspoken question also in a new Toastmasters mind. What can I get out of Toastmasters? This certainly is in their mind, although they don't articulate it because they are new. So they start with the beginning of learning how to speak. The end goal is definitely in the answer that they are seeking. So what they're trying to tell us is that they want to learn communication skills. To begin with the end in mind, it'd be good if every club can adopt the following strategies to Toastmasters. Sorry, let me open the slide. So they have to align talent acquisition to the end goal. Second strategy is to align our club culture to the end goal. Thirdly, to align leadership skills with the evolving generational dynamics of people brought up in the millennium. So you have to employ or apply all these three strategies in your club in order to achieve Toastmasters' end goal of where you leaders are made. I hope everyone is clear about this. I'll go on to explain this in detail just in a while. And to answer, what can I get out of Toastmasters? Beyond speaking skills, members are looking for long-term significance in their lives to grow as an effective leader. And we as members of Toastmasters who have been through that should be in a position to take them through this journey. So we have to start with us challenging them to look at a higher purpose than just seeking how to speak. Develop a strong and engaged culture aligned to the end goal in mind. These are very important. Challenging them to look at a higher purpose will certainly inspire them to aspire beyond. From that point, as leaders, we take them on a journey of achieving significance in their lives. This is what I refer to as talent acquisition strategy. Talent acquisition actually, it diverts the focus on just recruitment and instead to develop talent to be able to plan for succession planning. Otherwise, people just come and go. Of course, you start with building a core team. And this is the team that has developed over time to take on shared responsibility of managing this talent development strategy. So that's the only way to develop a strong and engaged culture aligned to the end goal in mind. And talking about culture, we have to align to a dynamic culture in the context of the organizational succession. The most successful clubs are those which are purpose-driven. And our purpose is with the end goal in mind of being where leaders are made. A successful club needs to be purpose-driven, as I said. So we have to identify the values needed to articulate explicitly to the new members. That is to become an authentic leader, not just a leader, an authentic or an appreciative leader. Create a bigger picture to support life's purpose, especially in the midst of uncertainty that we all face with these days. And most of the Toastmasters who are not, this is not communicated, they view Toastmasters as another task to be undertaken, and they find it quite worrisome and wearisome to compete with their daily lives of facing family problems, work problems, and also their own issues that they have. So Toastmasters actually helps people to distract from their daily concerns and problems to focus on something where they can enjoy doing it and also go through a learning process of becoming good leaders. So we have to inculcate a strong and engaged culture, adapt the dynamics of the evolving generation. Being a leader these days is not same as what we used to be in our days, where we were the Gen X or even baby boomers. We just had to comply because at that time, Singapore was in a developing stage. They need compliant leaders to execute tasks in order to achieve the end goal that the country had, to become a developed country. But now, those people born after 40 years of age, they come from a millennial generation where everything is, they are sheltered and everything is decided for them and provided for them. So they don't have to struggle, except for some. So a traditional approach to leadership is no longer sufficient in a world that is changing at an exponential rate. Leadership in this era requires an orientation towards the evolving mindset in the millennium, adapting to the changing landscape, new technologies, and shifting generational preferences. So aspiring leaders will require to develop the confidence needed to demonstrate that they have the skills to lead in this age. But before we continue with this, we first have to identify the human dynamics in the millennium. What is this millennial generation all about? If we don't understand that, we will definitely have problem leading them with our inherent old school management styles, which is no more applicable or acceptable, which actually, not only in Toastmasters, in the corporate world, there's a high rate of turnover because the young do not accept the old ways anymore. They will not argue with you. They wouldn't tell you why they are unhappy. They just disappear. I had a friend who told me this story. He said his son came back early one day from work, and he asked his son, "Oh, you're on half day today." The son said, "No, I sacked my boss." This is what he actually told his father. Huh? His father asked, why? Because he sucks. I don't like his way. I didn't do nothing wrong, but the way he looks at me and stares at me makes me so pissed off. And I cannot take it anymore. It's very stressful. So the father said, don't worry, son. I want you to be happy. Find a better job. Lower pay, never mind. I want you to be happy at work. So you can stay with me. There's no rush for you to get another job. So this is the millennial mentality encouraged by the Gen X before their time, who didn't have such luxury. They want the child to enjoy such luxuries, to be independent, to decide on their own. So what do the millennials need? They need to feel the connection. They seek value and develop personal relationship. They want to have a relationship with their boss, which they cannot find. They enjoy things collectively and collaboratively. So they want a workplace where there's a team they can socialize with and depend on. It's not just work for them. For them, the workplace is a place where they can interact at their own level. And they have a short attention span. The early generation normally requires people to pay attention for an hour while they give a lecture. But the millennials will not accept that. If you do that, you'll find them fiddling with their mobile phone and going into the social media and entertaining themselves. And when the bosses see that reaction, they will be glaring at them and making them feel uncomfortable until they put away their phones. Why and what to expect? This is what the millennials want. They want a reason. Why do you want me to do this? What can I get out of it? A millennial, in the early days, when we tell our subordinates, I want you to jump, we ask, how high? How high you want me to jump? Tell me. They are so eager to please the boss. But these days, when the boss tells them, I want you to jump, they'll say, you jump first, I'll follow you. So this is the difference between the the elders and the young millennials. The millennials are not really that young. They are below 40. They were all born in the mid 1980s. And after that, we even call them the Y generation. You can even see it if you have a nephew or your own child growing up. Whenever you tell them to do something, they'll ask you why. If you don't answer them, they won't do, or they will do what they are doing. So the Y generation is what we have in the millennials. And they want to be embraced, appreciated, and recognized for whatever good they do. If you don't recognize them, they will be very unhappy. I do so much and you never appreciate. And they will never go ahead to do anything more than what they are expected to do. So these people seek immediate gratification. You cannot postpone that word of thanks to another day. You have to tell them you did a great job. And the same thing we have to do in Toastmasters. Whenever they deliver a project, a speech, immediately recognize it, end of the meeting, thank them and tell the whole world that they have completed a project and give them a big hand, and if possible, even a pin to keep as a memento. So these are the requirements that the millennial generation require. So what type of environment attracts these millennials or the young generation of Toastmasters? Give me a minute, my earpiece dropped. They want an environment that offers self-development because they are tired of the task-driven way of growing up, right from their parents, in their education, as well as in their career. It's all task-driven. What they want is something they can do on their own, at their own time, at their own pace. And Toastmasters provides that. But we need to highlight this to them, especially during the stage when they have just joined us during the onboarding. All this has to be clearly articulated to them so that they can recognize it. It is not just coming in and doing a project and going off. And they also need a vibrant organizational culture. Vibrant meaning they have to be very authentic, very responsive, and applaud each other's achievement. That makes the club vibrant. And even the visitors, guests, can feel the vibrancy. And this is important. And that is done not only by the VPE or by the club president, but the entire team of the club that has to express it. Unfortunately, in this virtual world, we cannot meet to each other and hear each other's laughter, because when someone is speaking, everybody is muted. So that is a challenge. But I would think it is not necessary to mute everybody right from the beginning. Let all of them on their microphones. But when the Toastmaster of the day has to be watchful, if any feedback comes through any particular Toastmaster screen, just mute that person. Maybe that person has got a device problem, or the neighborhood is very noisy, or in their house they have kids. Other than that, everybody shouldn't suffer in silence. So I would recommend, please unmute your videos and let the Zoom master or the Zoom host take care of those who can't help it and mute that individual. And also, this will provide respect for each other. And that is important. So what inspires them? Collaborative peer-to-peer learning culture, which undoubtedly Toastmasters have that. We all learn from peers. We don't learn from some senior leader. It is the team of evaluators who are assigned to your speech, to evaluate your speech, are the ones who really teach you how to do a proper speech and highlight to you the actions and gestures, and also listen to the purpose.
Siva,
I'm sorry, Siva. Yeah.
I think you have some Wi-Fi issue. We can't really hear you for about a few seconds.
A minute. Yeah.
A minute. You try again. No, we can't hear you yet. Nope. Yep, I think the Wi-Fi connection is poor. There's some challenge there.
Maybe you can log out and log in again. Try that.
Yeah, logged out and logged in, yes. We still can't hear you, Siva. Nope.
No, just log out and log in. Maybe they'll reset. Yeah.
At this moment, in such an situation, silence is not golden. All right, I think he went out and he will be back soon. Now it's time for me to entertain you. So we have heard the do re mi's, just the do re mi. All right, you still have do re mi fa sol la ti do, which he will wait for Siva to come back and tell us the rest of the story. Now, children, Oh no, I mean now friends. Do, re, mi, fa, so are just the only tools to help us build a song. Once you know these notes in your head, you can sing a million tunes, mixing them up. Terence, you want to demonstrate that to us, mixing the notes?
No, you go ahead. You are so.
All right, let's Zoom Master, you help me look out for Siva.
Siva's back in the room, but let him
Settle a little bit.
set up
Okay.
his device, and he can share screen anytime when you're ready, Siva.
Yes, once
Back
he's ready.
to you, our Christmas elf.
So where was I? So you can mix it up and sing a million tunes, like so, do, la, fa, mi, do, re. So, do, la, ti, do, re, do.
But when you say,
When you know the notes to sing, you can sing most
actually, no, you don't use so, do, mi. Don't say that.
No?
I mean, you can say all the rest, but in different orders, but don't say so, do, mi. Apparently, people
Hold on
get
me.
it wrong.
Hold on me, okay.
Especially in Malaysia, it might be a bit sensitive.
I see, all right. See, the LE in our midst just know how to, their mind is wired differently. I can never play Scrabble because my mind is wired in the manner that I can only see things that are proper, straight. When it's all jumbled up like this, I just cannot.
Okay, Siva, are you ready to go? Testing.
Still that broken
Still bad.
sound.
Yeah, your audio is broken.
Very
Maybe
naughty.
somebody else in the movie just started Netflix. Somebody.
Would it help if we switch off all our video to reduce the load? Why don't we do that as what we normally practice in a contest? I appreciate your cooperation. We'll test it out. Siva, over to you. We have no audio yet. Feel free to share screen anytime when you're ready.
No, still no good.
Would you like to change to another earpiece or unplug your earpiece
Yes,
and try to use the device? Okay, we're good. We have audio. We have audio.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you share screen?
Yes, let me share screen. I think I got to on the screen first. Hello.
Yes, good.
Okay, we are good. We can hear you loud and clear, and
Yeah,
we
but
can
you
see
can't-
your PowerPoint.
Can you see my PowerPoint?
It's the, what do you call this? Homepage or something?
The blank presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stopped sharing and reopen screen. So give me a minute.
Well, this is so apt. Let's start at the very beginning.
Time for one more song. Linda.
I've got a problem getting my slides.
Margaret, do you have his slide?
Yes.
No, we do not have the full deck of the slides. Would you like to proceed without the slides, Siva? I'm sure we'll be able to follow you
Wait,
through.
wait, let me just see. Just give me a minute. Another few minutes, we'll do.
So today's workshop is the 4th of 5 workshop in total on leadership. Let me see the previous. Okay.
Can you all see my video yet?
No. No share screen. We can see you, we can hear you, but no share screen yet.
Okay.
Would you like to proceed? Maybe you send one of us your deck, then we can play it on our end. You take the load off your device.
Okay, I think I got it. Can you see?
Yes.
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 Just give me a few more minutes to go back to where. I think I was here.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
So the environment that the millennials are looking for, besides a collaborative peer-to-peer learning culture, they also like to have an environment that inspires the aspirations and are supported all the way. So this is very important for club leaders to note and to practice. They're looking for long-term mentors and short-term coaches. So they want someone to show them the way and to be able to take them through the journey. That is what meant by short-term coaches and long-term mentors. So we have to play that role. And why this, one of the attributes that these young millennials have is, firstly, they want to be inducted. They need to know how to go about this Toastmasters thing, not just dump there and give them the access to the Pathways program and leave them alone. So this is very important. And just now, the earlier speaker mentioned, and that is very important. And they want to be embraced. So they need to know the fellow Toastmasters and feel a sense of belonging with them, not be there alone in a corner and quiet and not even being welcome. So they need to feel embraced, to be feeling part of the organization. And they want to be challenged. We have to challenge them by telling them what is the long-term goal that Toastmasters has for them and how you'll be able to take them through that journey and create that vision in their minds. This is very important. Otherwise, they will just come in and keep doing their projects one after another without feeling that there is growth. So the young millennials have a growth mindset, and we need to help them on their journey because they never was allowed that to develop that mindset in their school days, where they just have to memorize their texts and regurgitate them in the exams. And the same thing at workplace. They are not being allowed. They just have to comply. But that has changed. So this is very important for us to offer them the challenge. Just give me a minute. My power is is also dropped. I need to plug it in. Okay, sorry about that. And as I mentioned earlier, they need to feel appreciated. I've already spoken about that. And they need to be trusted. Give them some assignments so that they feel that you trust them to handle such assignment. I've gone to a club where the VPE is even afraid to assign the new Toastmaster to do evaluation because they are new. But it is a matter of giving them the trust to do it, and they will do it. People need to be to feel trusted, and they also want to be empowered, and that is also important. Empower means pass the buck to them, but to first induct them, train them, make them comfortable, then empower them. Let them play some roles they have not played before, and they feel, oh, I'm given a chance to do maybe even the opening speech. After all, the president is doing the opening speech every meeting. So there's no harm in letting a newer Toastmaster who is developing, give them a chance to do the opening speech. I'm sure they will be so happy to try it and feel how a president's role is all about, even to a small extent. And the same thing, they also need to be mentored, as I mentioned earlier, and whatever achievements need to be recognized. So these are important value points that the millennials look for. I'm sure we can all practice this. It's just changing our mindset, how we develop people and make them feel a sense of belonging to the culture. So leaders need to involve the team, manage expectations. Without involving them, leaving them alone is not going to help them feel that they are part of the organization and recognize the team's capability. Give them roles in the next exco and try them out. It's not going to create a disaster as you are always there. And engage and empower, nurture, trust, and respect them. Appreciate, give them credit when due. Consult opportunities to share ideas, create such opportunities. Ask them for the ideas, what they think, especially even welcome them to the EXCO meeting and see how you make decisions and also cater to the needs of the club. Humility. Everybody has got an ego. So build on this ego to create a vibrant culture and mentor becoming an authentic leader. So these few points will give you this, how to be an authentic leader. I reach and mentor. This is what it means. If you read the above points, it spells out to be I reach and mentor. So you have to reach out. And that is most important for a millennial. They like to be reached out. Call them before the meeting. Ask them, how are you doing? May I help you? Can I help you with your next project? Of course, they will not straight away grab it unless they really need your help, but they feel warm. They feel you have touched them. You care for them. This feeling of caring is very important. How many of you have even met any of your Toastmasters, especially the new ones? I went to a club and the club EXCO was proudly telling, you know, we have never met you before. I was telling one of their fellow Toastmasters who's quite new, who joined within the last 2 years. And that can be quite a number of people. Actually, the COVID situation never stops you from meeting your new member. It's a matter how comfortable you are to meet them. There's always been a one-to-one meeting, although they don't allow more than 2 persons. So we can go to any kopitiam with one new Toastmaster to meet them, welcome them, and do the punch, and you're okay. Nothing's going to happen to you. So this, everyone, I've met every one of my new members because I believe in engaging. And this is the very key to the culture and to develop authentic leadership. Members need to be engaged. This is very important. Leaders need to show tenacity to guide members when they're stuck and show them the way. So if a member hasn't opted to speak for 2 meetings in a row, there's something wrong. That is when you should jump in and enable them to feel the value and share with them what you feel about them. Tell them they are awesome and they have great ideas when they express themselves, and how you are inspired by the energy. You may have a new member who joined who is stuttering, unable to speak right from day one, and always stammers. You have to encourage them. They have some trauma in their early life, or they have been suppressed, have low self-esteem, therefore they're always stuttering. So you need to help them, tell them how well they have done this time. So each month as they given a chance to speak, compliment the small little improvements you see in their stammering or stuttering. So that's how you inspire. But they have the energy because they are young. So make them feel it. Address the need for how can you be there for me as a whole. Every Toastmaster will ask this question. What can you do for me? So be down to earth and authentic. Reach out to them. This is very important. And members need to feel your presence. Not being present, but your presence among them. And create a sense of fellowship. Keep an open mind to listen to them actively. Embrace them, reach out first. Don't wait for them to reach out to you, and they'll disappear sooner or later. So establish that rapport. Show appreciation, empathize, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't think, oh, I'm the club president. How can I go down to his level? This is important. Create sense of belonging. Create a buddy system in your club. Inspire them to work as a team. And actually, we already have something like that, mentor-mentee system. But I can honestly tell you, it doesn't really work unless the whole club has that culture of reaching out to each other. So rather than assigning one person who goes to sleep and doesn't do his work, and the new Toastmaster disappears over time, get the whole club to interact with each other. When they come in, thank them for coming in. This is very important. And also adapt to the most important thing is to adapt to this generation. It may take time, but we learn along the way. That's very important. So social connections are primary motivators to persevere in an environment. People connect with people. Strengthening social connections at the organization creates a network of relationship. So don't just focus on your own club. Visit other clubs, do networking. There are so many wonderful people out there. When I was struggling, when I took over my club, we had only about 8 members. We were a club of not good standing. And I made it a resolve to network, go to other clubs, identify those senior leaders who can help me, guide me along to build up the club. And I had a couple of them who visited me every month and helped me to develop the club. And in the end, we ended with this president's club status for 2 successive years. And that is the success of my employing all these strategies. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Right, thank you, Siva, for your sharing. Begin with the end in mind. Really is all about purpose-driven. So giving our new members direction All right, so that they know what's next. Thank you so much. Up next, we are going to ask everyone to turn on your video because it is Smile, an everlasting smile. Over to you, Kathleen, to help us, the Zoom master, to help us with the photo taking. Everyone.
Yes, everyone, good afternoon. If it's convenient, kindly switch on your video and show us your beautiful and handsome faces. All right, let's have because we're all leaders, right? So let's make a power pose. Like you can do this, you can do this, you can do your powerful pose.
Wow, look at Susan
okay,
and Keen. Wow, that's beautiful.
right, maybe show your yes, thumbs up. Okay, 1, 2, power. Hold. Okay, got it. Can I have another like fun shot? A big smile to everyone. Okay, another one. Smile, a big smile. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Linda.
Yes, okay, back to me again. All right, I think we shall not go for a break. Let's proceed on, yeah? Let's proceed on. Our next keynote speaker, she is an expert in group health solution and a top producer in AIA Singapore, my company. She's renowned for her ability to train leaders and impart knowledge. Her specialty in creating mentorship programs and picking talents. I can attest to that. I am one of the talents that she has picked. I am now the chief mentor of AIA Toastmasters Club. And right, the title of her speech, Building a Legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's wave and welcome our next speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Zhuo Shu-chen. Over to you, Su-chen.
Woohoo! Yay! Can y'all see the slides first?
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, and I know Linda created the slides.
Only this picture.
Yeah, the picture, and I created that slide. Okay. And yes, today I'm here to share with you how to build a legacy. Let me just adjust my screen a little bit. Yeah, what's wrong today? Give me a second so I can see myself. Okay. How can you just keep jumping? Okay, never mind. We'll leave it as it is. Okay. So I'm here to share with you how to build a legacy. But before that, I would like y'all to do an activity. I would like y'all to raise your hand to the ceiling. Just raise. And I want you to stretch because it was such a really a lot of content given by Siva. I just want you to stretch to the left, stretch to the right. And now I want you to rotate your shoulders so that you're more relaxed when I talk about my session later. Okay? Now I feel so much better because it was such an intensive, I've learned so much from Siva, even though I've been serving in Toastmasters. And I've realized that, hey, I've actually applied a lot of things that Siva talked about in little bits and pieces here. So thank you, Siva. So next, a little bit about myself first. I just like to highlight some of the leadership roles that I've hold. So I was a past president of 2 clubs, AIA Toastmasters Club and Thames Changkat Toastmasters Club. And I know there are AIA members. Can you unmute yourself and say, yahoo! Okay, now need a few proud members, I see. I'm also a past president of past area S4 director in the term 2014-2015, leading my area to president distinguished area as well. So I'm quite proud of my own achievement as a leader. I'm also, like what Linda said, the chief mentor, the creator of Thames Changkat current club mentorship system. So this is some of my credential as a leader. Of course, I've served in multiple council as well as club exco roles, except apparently the secretary role. So I think everybody is going to ask me to be a secretary next, because that's the only exco role that I have not performed. So that really tells you some of the experience I had. Honest truth, I was telling Terence when he selected me to be a speaker, I said that AIA was my first job. I actually don't have any corporate experience. But here's the thing, I've learned that if you can lead a non-profit organization whereby members have no incentive. You do not pay them, and yet you can lead them. I'm sure some of these very important principles will also be very applicable in the corporate world. So later I'll be sharing most of my sharing based on Toastmasters, but I believe the same principle will be applicable in the corporate world. And that's okay. Can you give me a thumbs up? Okay, a okay sign, a okay sign. Must always do times up, let's change. Next up, one question. How many of you wants to get 200% value today? 200% value. If you want, can you type yes? Just type yes. Because some of them, I see you all say, okay, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Margaret. Can you type yes so I can see the rest of them because I can't see everyone here. Yes, yes. Thank you, Watana, Francis. Oh, wow, Margaret wants 300%. Yay. So there are two secrets that I really personally adopt to make sure that I learn from every session. So I'm going to share with you what that is. Number one, the concept of knowledge share equals knowledge square. So I'm not sure whether I am smarter, cleverer than any one of you in this room, but I'm very, very sure that all of us together are smarter, cleverer than anyone in this room. So what I'm trying to say here is, just now in the session, I know Silva asked some questions and everybody was very, very quiet. But here's the thing, if you want to get 200, 300%, don't you think that if instead of just learning from me, if we can learn from everybody, all of you are expert, we can learn 200, 300%. So in the session, there will be certain parts I'll ask you for your wisdom. Please share generously with us so that we can learn not from one person, not two of us, but all of us. Okay? If that's okay, can you give me a thumbs up this time around? So I need to see who give thumbs up. Very, very good. So later I can arrow Linda and Margaret. Very, very good. The next thing is really, really to have fun. If not, what's the point, right? And I realized that when you have fun learning, you can retain all those experience or all those knowledge even better. So I would try to have fun also training this. So let's begin with the story of Thamizhavel Shankat Toastmasters. I dare to say, as of today, we're probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest club in Division S right now. But was it all the time we were the strongest? It was not true. I mean, I joined the club since 2013. And I've seen the most challenging time Thamizhavel Shankat Toastmasters undergo where in 2016, the term 2016 to 2017. So what happened was the back then president decided to form a team of very, very diverse members. They came from very different backgrounds. And obviously people with different background, different culture tends to do things very differently. Like how a person in India versus Singapore, very, very different, you know, in terms of how we work, the efficiency, everything is different. So can you imagine if you can manage a diverse work culture? That's great because it can really, really stimulate innovation, creativity. But here's the thing, if you cannot manage it well, it is the start of a disaster. So what happened was, because of the different working style, people started, you know, when things goes wrong, people start to finger point at each other, say, no, it's not my fault, it's another department's fault. And then the other department will defend and say, it's not my fault, it's another department's fault. So nobody was bad, everybody was blamed. So imagine working in such a culture. Do you really think that you will feel very, very motivated? No, right? So can you imagine? This was what was happening behind the scene. And all our members can feel it. That's the best part. In the chapter meeting, we can feel the tension, literally. And we know something was going on. The second thing was, because also like what Siva talked about values, culture, right? The values of the leader, the back then president, probably wasn't so aligned with our club culture. So Thamizhavel Shankat has always been a club that focused a lot on excellence. So we have a lot of system, a lot of processes to help us continue that excellence. And back then, the president believed more, his personal value was probably more efficient. So he and his team probably decided that, you know, some of these systems are not required. So they scrapped it and they went with what they want, which is more efficiency. And guess what? What's easy may not be what's best. The end result of that, we lost our system as well. And so we started, just the term before, we were like a very strong club saying that, yay, we're going to celebrate the 90th member already. And we're going to break through 100 member very soon. Next term, we will surely do it in 2016, 2017. And we lost in that term more than 1/3 of our members. we lost about 40 members in that one term. And of course, our recruitment rate suffered, right? We will only be able to recruit only about 50% of what we usually do. And that's very, very bad. We lost a lot of people and we weren't able to recruit as many as well. So can you imagine? This was very bad in my opinion, but that's still not the worst. Along the way, we lost 2 EXCO members. One was the treasurer who hosts the finance. Can you imagine a finance manager is so important in the corporate world? We lost a finance manager and we lost our VP who was en route to be the next president in a few more months. So we lost the next leadership as well. So where's my role in all this? It was in January 2017. I received a call from the president then. He said, Sujan, I know you are supposed to be the VP. I was en route to be the VP in 2017, July 2017, yes. But in January, I already received a call. Can you step up and be the VP immediately? So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask you, if you were me, would you say yes? How many of you will say yes? Can you type in the chat group? Just so I can assess, oh, very good. You are very motivated people. I like you guys. Got very good leadership. As per what all of you did, I did the same. I said yes. Even though I knew it was good, I had a lot of mess to clear, I said yes. And the good news is in that 5 months as VP and the 1 year as president, 6 months early. I thought I had 6 months to think about what to do because I just decided to be VP in the early of Jan, I thought I had 5 months to think about what to do, and next thing I got parachuted into the role and I had to immediately start work. But in that 5 months as VP and the 1 year as president, I was able to turn things around and rebuild the legacy of Debit Shortcut. So this is really the slide I took off from my annual general meeting report in 2018 June, by the time I completed my term as president. Sorry, that was in May. On 12 March 2018, in my term as president, I led the club to President Distinguished Club status in 12 March, pretty much earlier than the expected June, right? And 3 days later, we achieved 10 upon 10, and that was the first club in Division S. So I got all these dates so that I know that I'm the first. Yay! And 18 April, only 16 clubs in Singapore achieved 10 upon 10. And obviously, AIA TMC and Debit Shortcut, both clubs have achieved that because they both are my clubs, I know them. And what's amazing in Division S, because 30th April was the date that I did this report, that's why it was based on that. We were the club with the highest number of new members we recruited 25 people. And that was back to where we were before 2016. We were also the biggest club in Division S with our current strength that time at 71. In the entire district, in terms of recruitment, we were number 8 behind Toastmasters Club of Singapore, and the rest were all students club and newly chartered clubs. I think that's quite a good achievement. In 1 year, we turned around pretty much. If you think that was pretty much a good, can you give me a thumbs up? I'm not good. Oh yeah, very sad. Okay, then I should go home already. This is not good enough for your standard. Okay, but in my opinion, I thought I really had restored the club to its former glory, and most importantly, I continued Debit Shortcut legacy. Why am I sharing all this? Because it was through that 1 year of experience that I learned to build a legacy. There are 3 important, I forgot to share the last picture. The anthem party, as you can see, all the tensions were resolved. We were very happy as a family. Yeah, so I was talking about the 3 factors to building a legacy that I have learned through my 1 year of experience as someone who is rebuilding the club, someone who is rebuilding the club legacy. In fact, I thought it was quite interesting that actually Silver covered that earlier, and that's culture, number 1, people, and third, system. So I'll focus on the culture first, because culture sets how the clubs operate, the way we do things. But the first question that I have, I know Siva talked a lot about the culture already, but I have not heard from the rest of you. So can you share with me what you think is culture? Can you type in the chat group or unmute yourself? Remember, you all promised me, at least Linda Lee and Margaret, who gave me the thumbs up just now. So please share with me, what do you think is culture? There's no right and wrong answer, okay? I want to know what's your interpretation of culture. Come on. Guys, remember 200%. It all starts from you. Unique. Okay? Does it say unique? So it's something unique to your club. Okay? Behavior of people based on action, I guess. Okay? Good and bad bacteria in the same dish. I'm trying to understand that. Sure. Culture is a tradition and a way of life. Gordon, thank you. Anyone else? What people are born and raised to. What people are born and raised to. Okay, okay. Like the customs. Okay, correct. Any more? I like to hear from Ho Kim Xiong. Because he's probably the most experienced, I think, Toastmasters in this group. Kim Xiong, are you there still? Sorry.
He left already. Earlier on, he mentioned, I think he left already. He has another meeting to go to.
Never mind. Then how about Linda? What is culture, in your opinion? Since you...
Culture is, culture is something that's intangible. It's very difficult to describe. Like.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. I don't know how to describe. I can feel it.
Sure.
It is the vibration you feel when you enter a club.
Nice way of putting that. You see, that's why Linda, he put it in the exact words what you were trying to say. The vibration you feel when you enter a club. Correct. And PT said it's a small, cozy community club. Okay. They all okay. There's no right or wrong. It's just your interpretation. So culture to me is the way we do what we do. In simple terms, but according to dictionary, it is the ideas, customs, social behavior of a particular people or a society. Okay. Then who sets the culture? Next important question. Who do you think sets the culture?
The top person.
The top person? Silva said the top person. Practices and habits that connect people. I think, Margaret, you're referring to what's culture, right?
All of us.
Okay, all of us. Terence, sure.
The members, club itself.
It's a top-down
Members.
approach.
Missionaries. Okay, I think there are, of course, two groups of answer, right? One is the top-down approach for leaders, one is members. I think members can set the culture because don't forget, members can be leaders without title too. But generally, in my opinion, typically in most culture or most company organizations, top leaders or the key leaders, the influential leaders usually are the ones who set it. And when the rest of them see that there is a value to that, they follow, and that sets the culture. So for example, I remember in Thames Shankat, that used to be this culture that whenever people speak and then some of the members will go, they'll make that sound and then that nod of acknowledgement. But who says that? It started all the way back from past President Cohen Tan. That's his way of acknowledging the speaker and saying that I agree with you, you know. The next thing we've realized that the person, probably the speaker, felt acknowledged and he started following him. And along the way, the rest of us just continue to follow whoever is doing it. Same thing. And if you have visited Thames Shankat or AIA Toastmasters, I used to be the cheerleader. I will go, woohoo, yay! And after a while, Linda also do that. And even though nowadays I don't do it anymore, I realize some members still do it. So you see, key leaders, it may be a member, but generally they are influential people and members see the value. That's why they follow the culture. So my next question is, what's your organization or your club culture? At this point of time, I think we have members from several clubs, right? Is there anyone who would like to share with me what's your club culture, or what do you think was a club culture? Since Margaret, you said okay just now, can you tell me what's your club culture? Let's see whether
culture of
or not. AIA Toastmasters.
A culture of excellence to begin with.
That is definitely our core value, AIA. You are right, spot on. In fact, I believe that AIA Toastmasters, because our pioneers, when I first joined the club, Fernando Young, his core value is excellent. Therefore, all the rest, he sets the club culture. And since then, we have very high standard meeting, very high standard anniversary installation. Everything must be high standard because he said that along in the early years, and we just follow because we see the same value. And usually this is the case. Your club culture will affect the people that you recruit also. So you will notice that a club with excellence will likely attract people of excellence as well. Usually that's the case. So are there any other clubs who would like to share your club culture? Because AIA I know very well, but I just let AIA to warm up the rest. Are there any other clubs? Let me see the leads. Watana, would you like to share with me? What do you think is your club culture? There's no right or wrong, it's just your interpretation. Is Watana around? Hello? Or Sharon? Are you around? Sharon?
Tana is here.
Oh, Watana is
Would like to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Watana, can you share with me? What do you think is your club culture?
If I'm to talk about TMCS,
Yeah.
I would say that the club culture is really strong in excellent speakers. I mean, we have lots of veterans and their levels of speaking ability is so far superior than other clubs that I go to.
Sure. So in this case, it seems like TMCS has the same club culture as well. They, as AIA Toastmasters, they value a lot on excellence. That's great. Some consideration for the rest. Depends on your club culture. Some club culture really focus on excellence. Some focus on efficiency. You need to know your club culture because that really determines your system, your processes, whether it supports that. Imagine a club that focus on efficiency, then for them, it's a lot about little processes. It's about getting things done. A club like AIA, TMCS, they focus on a lot on excellence. They will go the extra mile. For example, AIA Toastmasters, every installation we plan 2-3 months ahead. We must have installation video. We must have march in. We must have flag raising. We must rehearse from the start to the end. Everything must be sui, or I call that perfect. That's AIA TMC because I know them so well, right? So that's excellent. I'm sure TMC has the same thing that they do as well. In their members believe in excellence, they rehearse their speech, they get their mentors to probably go through with them before they even present. That's how a club of excellence will do. They're also, when you consider club culture, also consider, does your club rewards effort or results? One of the things that I know, I'm using AITMC here because I know AITMC, how what they do. So AITMC really, really rewards effort. How I know that? Every level that the club members complete, right? Wow, they will show level 1, level 2, then they will put it in the club chat group so you can't miss it. Everybody will be wishing them, so you can't miss it really. And they will put it in the Facebook to congratulate the person. You make the member feel very, very good just for completing the level 1 or level 2, and it encourages them to do so. Whereas, and another club that I know is Money Mastery. Apparently, they give a standing ovation for every speech. Of course, then the question is like, some people say, but that it devalues standing ovation, you know, the concept of standing ovation. But here's the thing, I believe excellence is also in one of the core values for Money Mastery. So their members, before they do speech, they really heard their men say, I better make that speech worth a standing ovation. Even though they wrote effort, but they, because the member also had excellence in part of the core value, make sure it. Whereas if you compare a club where the culture is about results, right? I don't know whether I've seen some clubs where, oh, the members participate in contests, never win. Wow, they don't even talk about it. But some clubs, no matter you win or not win, as long as you represent us, we acknowledge you. That's effort. Result is, oh, never win, don't talk about it. So think about, what's your club culture? Is this supporting what you want the club to go? Is your club open or closed to comments or feedback? You know, sometimes I visit some Toastmasters club, I give general evaluation. I get a feeling that this club is not very open to the feedback. That's the feeling I get. I'm not sure whether some of you had that kind of feeling before. So imagine if the club culture where the leaders are not open to feedback, very, very likely that the members will not be open to feedback as well. So think about, what is your club culture and what would you want to gear towards? So with that, I'd like to share Tamish Shankar as an example, because that's how I reset or we could have rebuilt the club culture, right? So Tamish Shankar focus on 4 core values. This is the application part. So number 1, when I first came in as a VPE, I went to speak to the 3 very senior members. 2 of them are founders of Tamish Shankar. I asked them, so what do Tamish Shankar stand for? I want to know. So I know how to bring, is that still aligned with our current values? And I want to bring it back. So I realized that number one, it is fun. First core value must be fun. Everything must be fun. Number two, connections is very key. When I visited Tembin Shankat, when I was still a visitor then, it was very interesting. After 10 p.m., CC gate closed, a group of people don't want to go home. Stay outside the club, talk and talk and talk for half an hour to an hour. And then as a guest, I feel very paiseh to go home. I feel very embarrassed, like I want to go home, but then the rest are still talking. So I realized that that's really connection. They really want to connect with each other. They talk for half an hour. Later on, when I became a member, I tell them we can go kopitiam, sit down and talk or not. Very tiring to talk outside the CC. Can we adjourn to a coffee shop nearby and actually talk? So that's what we did later on. We had kopitiam session every meeting because we value connection a lot. So that's a very obvious concept. The third core value that they really, really have was excellence, like what I think AIATMC as well as Toastmasters Club of Singapore has as well. And we also believe in growth. So what can you do if these are some of your core values, and how can you create a culture? So because fun is number one in Tembin Shankat, everything must be fun, meeting must be fun. So obviously we have fun team meetings. And because excellence is also in our core, right? Team meetings are not done normally also. When we have a Halloween meeting, we hire makeup artists to paint the face. How many people do that? But I mean, it's partially sponsored by the club, but we really want to go all out. When we had Deepavali meetings, our Indian friends will say, let me help dress you up, Suchan. I lend you my sari and everything. We dressed up for the meeting, really. And this is a combined meeting with AIATMC. So we went to decorate, combined effort to do up the decoration for Valentine's. We had so much fun. And then this was actually the team meeting that I organized as the VPE. So this was my first team meeting. I did a women's night. I bought all the ladies in the room a roast to appreciate them, as to thank all the ladies for being such wonderful women in Toastmasters and in their family. And that's what we did. And of course, that meeting was special because it was a team meeting, so we make it special. All the role holders were male. And then we leave all the talking to the female because they like to talk. So all the speakers, table topic speakers were female. So the table topics they had to do, we did like a beauty pageant. They had to do a catwalk, strike a pose, and then answer a beauty pageant question. So that was just for fun. We also have fun bondings because remember, connection is very key to Tembin Shankat. So we need to have a lot of activities. We did many things. This is just a few only. Bump. We had a yacht experience. We had many tournaments, badminton tournament, bowling tournaments, and of course our anniversary parties for the senior members who can't participate in some of these tournaments. We still have great food, great games, and obviously we decorated the place. So this is fun bonding. And more things, in order to know our members, to connect with them even more. And I tell you, the best place to find leaders, retreat. Retreat is the key. Every time we go for a retreat, the members become EXCO members. I'm not kidding you. I remember when I first attended the retreat, next thing I became an EXCO member for Tembin Shankat with BPM. And the entire group, almost everybody who attended the Palawan retreat became an EXCO member, almost every single one of them, because that's where you really connect. You get to know the person better. You build that relationship when you're traveling together, you're sleeping, maybe sleeping together in some sense as well. Yeah. So this is our Bangkok trip. This is Palawan. This was Cebu, and of course Cebu is the most memorable one because that's where Kin proposed to me as well. And this is Dalak, where we went for canyoning. So really you can see things must be fun. So here's the thing. If fun is your value proposition, is one of your core value, what can your club think about to make meetings, events fun? Even in the pandemic, what can you all do? Think about it. Because these were, of course, pictures that we took from physical meetings. But even in the current pandemic, we are still having fun through various ways. We are still exploring how to do that. Connections. I want to show, last year when the pandemic started, we had to stop our physical meeting, and that hit us really, really bad because this is a club who really needs to connect. So in July last year, it was the birthday month of our Majesty, who is the queen of the club, the most influential member. So I took the chance to connect with our members, say, hey guys, it's our Majesty birthday. How about let's send her a birthday wish? Everybody send me a video. And we did a montage. I'm just going to show you a slip, but because it's a very long video.
Me, have a happy 18th birthday from yours truly, your favorite.
Happy birthday, Your Majesty! As you turn 18 today, make it the most wonderful day. Wish you have all the joys and laughter, all the blessings that you wish for, especially all the wine that your stomach can handle. Stay forever young and charming.
But you get the point, huh? So basically, just using that project, Your Majesty, I was able to connect with a lot of members, get them to send some videos over. And even though it was for Majesty, but I get to connect with some of them, and they were all very happy. And some of them were past members. They left the club, but they were more than happy to send some of these videos over. So, sorry. Next. Our third value is excellence. So we have a lot of systems. So I restored a lot of systems to the club in that 1 year. One of the things that I introduced in the last 3 years was the mentoring system. So I came up with this 9 step to mentorship excellence. Now they call it mastery in mentoring, to really, really create consistency in mentorship. So if you are a club that focuses on excellence, how do you create consistency in what you do? So for my club, we need system. So we have like 9-step system for mentoring. In terms of induction, we have a certain induction procedure. In terms of like PR system, I know AIA TMC, like they do the level 1, 2, 3 kick tracking, and they actually post all this. These are systems, that processes that clubs adopt. So think about, what is your club systems? And if excellent is part of your core value. And of course, seeking to be the best is also why we go an extra mile because of excellence. And I just want to show you this installation video. Of course, the concept of that was really adopted from AIA Toastmasters, because that's where I came from, right? So our installation video since 2015, every year I'm very, very amazed. And this is from 2019, just a little bit of snippet for you all to see. So this is just a little bit about how we introduce our leaders even. We make it really, really grand. So I just want to show you some of this. Sujan, so blaming your TM. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay. So excellence, really seeking out to be the best because we seek to be the best. So think about how are you doing things, going the extra mile for the club events. So what we do in Temishankat, another example is how we hold the event. This was an anthem party and the anniversary picture. Can you see the backdrop? It took us a few days to prepare the marble backdrop, the blue backdrop. We cut paper, the black paper, stick the yellow paper there to create that. So this is the amount of effort we put in every event because our focus is core value is excellence. So think about that. This is how we, and our exco also term by term wants to be different because remember, if you attract your club culture, you will attract the same group, same like-minded people. So I realized term after term, I'm very impressed with our VPM because VPM, we celebrate our members' birthday. So before the pandemic, we actually found out that there were very talented people in our group that did all these videos, right? So we asked them to do videos. So we also found out that a lot of them can play musical instrument, dance and sing, rap. So we get them to perform in our club. But in the pandemic period, we couldn't do that. So what did we do? Our VPM last term created a monthly birthday videos for different videos with different song for the birthday. And this is during my month. That's why I got this, just a little bit to show you how that is. Okay, basically. So with that, right, one of our member was very, very impressed. She was most of the time in Hong Kong. So she said, I don't even attend our chapter meeting and means I'm not contributing, but this club made me feel so special, so valued. They sent me a video for my birthday. So when you seek to be excellent, members feel it. And just like what Siva talked about it, right, earlier. So this is one way, if your club seek excellent, how can you seek to give the best experience to members? And this is what Temishankat do. So I'm sharing some of these examples so that I hope they create some ideas that you can think about how do you create excellence as a club culture. So I'm not trying to brag what we do, but I'm just really, really showing some practical examples of what a club really, really does. So the fourth value that we really, really value was growth. So what happens to that? So every new members are assigned a mentor. I remember Silva talked about like even if you have a mentorship, it doesn't mean the mentor is really there. So for Temishankat, we screen our mentors. They go through an interview with me. So I screen them. There's a certain criteria. There are certain questions I ask them before they are enrolled as a mentor because we don't want the mentee to feel like, oh, I joined and then the mentor was assigned to me and next thing the mentor went MIA, missing in action. So this is something that we do very rigorously as well. So you see, all our four core values, right, are integrated one. The way we create our birthday also have the excellent value. It's also about fun. It's also about bonding. It's also about growth. You can see that. And we also conduct a lot of workshop and educational segment. For example, just before this year humorous contest, we invited our past humorous champion, Joe Wan, to conduct a segment to talk about humorous techniques and everything. So I took home a lot of the humorous techniques. I was like, wow, he really give all. I think it's because he's not competing this year. So he just gave everything. I was like, wow, that is really like worth a paid workshop. And that was how Temishankat really upkeep our standard in speaking as well. So these are some of the workshops that we conduct. And every year, we will conduct a speechcraft workshop for our new members and for members to join us. Okay, so this is every year we should have one. In fact, we are in the middle of our speechcraft workshop. So Eric and Margaret has helped me out. So thank you so much. So this is really, we go all out every year in terms of training. We also have advanced workshop for existing members, like Push the Car Off the Cliff, Powerhouse series. We also provide trainings for mentors so that we upkeep the standard in Temishankat, like the Mastery in Mentoring, as I mentioned. And we did a 4-series mentorship training to make sure mentors really, really have the skill set to mentor the mentees as well. And oh, one more thing. And you can see that one of the training is called Train the Trainer. It was deliberately planned because I think one of the challenge that I see for Temi Shankar is over the years, we have many great trainers. We have from Michael Wee, Lee Jin Wee time. Then next is Cohen Tan, Peck Chong, Sean Lee. Some of these names you have not even heard about it anymore. And now everybody only know Kin Eng and Haider Taufik from Temi Shankar. And then what's next? I have not seen anyone that's coming close to the two of them yet. So I decided, very importantly, we need to make sure to continue the legacy, we need to groom the next batch of trainers, which is because since we conduct Speechcraft every year. So this year in Speechcraft, we had, let me think, 5 new trainers who are conducting the Speechcraft under the care of Kin Eng. So Kin really goes through every presentation with them before they even present and give them feedback coaching, just even before the actual Speechcraft training. So this is how we train our members to become leaders. And now, very important part, I've shared some ideas. I would like you all to think about at this moment, what are you doing to promote your club culture? So Margaret and obviously Watana, you all mentioned that excellence is your club culture. So in this current pandemic, what do you think the club can continue to do to promote the culture of excellence?
We are very fortunate that Sheraton allowed us to do physical since November last year. So we do 50 packs per meeting. Where a few months we have a gap because of the further lockdown, but so it helps a lot with that physical bonding.
Yes.
A lot of people who did not renew, but because of the physical, they have come back.
Okay, that's great. That's great, Watana. Okay. Margaret, have you thought about what do you think the club would need to do to? Okay, I think I'm running out of time, so I shall skip Margaret for today. Okay. Oops, I still got quite a bit. So I'm going to go very quickly through the rest, sorry, because of time. So people is the next segment. So how do we identify leaders? Because if you have a very, very strong culture, but you don't have the right leaders, things can mess up, just like in my term, not in my term, in the term before me, 2016, 2017. So how we identify leaders is, for me, I think I look at how you do one thing is how you do everything. So what do? I usually observe leaders, new members when they join the club. The moment they join the club, I'm observing them already. Even though I'm not a leader right now, I still do that. So how? I will see how they show up in meetings. If they took a role, they never show up, I'm observing them. Or they don't show up punctually for their meetings or roles, I also observe. I think that's really very important because can you imagine that you have a leader who every time, example in AIA, sales always is a big thing for us, right? So if the leader always say, hey, sorry, I got last minute, I have to cancel my speech because I got appointment. Can you imagine if this person is the leader, the club president, sorry, I got appointment, I cannot do your opening address, cannot do the closing address. Can you imagine that? So this is really important. Observe them. Number 2, talk to them to assess whether their values are aligned, like what Siva said, aligned with the organization value. And one thing that what happens for Temi Shankar was because we were a club of excellence, but the president was a club of efficiency in that year. So that's why everything fall apart. And finally, give them some minor tests to try, like organizing an event before you get them to step up to the exco. Observe how they handle situation. See whether they have the tenacity, the resourcefulness to be a leader. So that's how I identify leaders. So I'm going to quickly run through that. So building leaders, these are the 4 things that I will do. I think Silva covered some of them, but I'm just going to go in depth on some parts of it. So having a clear vision, set context, empower, encourage, review, and coaching. I'll cover it a little bit more in the next few sessions. Margaret, I'm running out of time, but I'm running through, okay? So what is your club vision or direction? Number 1, you as a leader, you need to set the vision. So for me, this was the theme of the year when I became president. Because we lost so many members, my theme of the year was every member makes a difference. When you lost 40 members, every member makes a difference, I tell you. So we really, really talk about this eagle strategy that I came out with to make sure we focus on the members, to grow them, to engage them, to empower them, to leverage on their strengths. And as part of the onboarding process, this is how I onboard Exco and mentors. I ask them these 3 questions because it set the context for them. Number 1, why did you join the whatever committee, mentor? I need to know the motivation. If you don't know why they are joining, yeah, I must be a Y generation. I ask a lot of why. But you need to know this because when things goes wrong, you need to point them back to the why. I thought this is the reason you joined the club or the Exco. What do you intend to gain from your role? This is the part that you develop. You try to understand what do they want out of this. And when you know, and you can align that to the organization value, right? Or the organization culture, then can you really help them to see why they need to do certain things. And what do you hope to achieve in this term for the club? I get them to set their goals that they want to achieve. Like the VPM set a goal to retain 80% of the members and to recruit 12 members, but she exceedingly did that. She did 25. So I get all these exco to do this. Why? At the end of the day, when things goes wrong, I point them back to these questions. Have that changed? If not, why is it happening? Can I help you to get over this? Also sex expectation, because expectation, people are upset when expectation fails. So communicate your expectation as a leader. Think about what are your expectations. Make sure you communicate. In 2016, the problem with Tempeh Shankar is the same problem. People had different interpretation what the role requires. And that's where arguments happen. They say that, oh no, wasn't told that I need to do this. If not, I wouldn't have taken up the role. See, that is very key. So these are the 3 golden rules that I actually set before I enroll anybody into my team as an exco and mentor. So I'm not going to go through that very in detail, but basically to be best version of yourself, to attend chapter meetings, to show up for exco meetings. So basically showing up is very key in my my values. I also set rules of engagement because there was a lot of fighting within the team the previous term. So I learned from the experience. I set these 5 rules. Number 1, take responsibility for your own club success. Your own team success. So if you cannot show up for a meeting and you are the VPM, don't you think it's your responsibility to make sure somebody is there? Respect people's time. Be punctual for Exco meeting. Respect people's opinion. Don't put down people's idea. Like somebody at Exco give an idea and say, no, that's a bad idea. Don't make people feel really like disrespected. Don't embarrass them. And respect people's space as well. Don't call people in the middle of the night, please, even though it's urgent. And don't block each other on WhatsApp because that's what the previous team did. So responsiveness is, we want to also establish how fast to respond because people are all busy. We don't expect, oh, you text me immediately, I must respond, right? So we gave a 1 day. That's for us, my team. So it is, I think it's quite fair. Recognition, I think Siva has talked about it. So we really, really celebrate small wins. We encourage Exco team to really, really praise each other, encourage each other. And finally, regularity, attend Exco meetings, submit reports, empower and encourage. So really, we give them a lot of autonomy. I let my team make all the decision. I only give suggestion. I always say that you make the decision. I can suggest, but I will not make the decision. I let you run it. And I celebrate what I want to see more of. So when I want to see them doing more thing or this thing, I celebrate more of the small wins, and that will make them motivate them to do more of that. And then that's how we build to the bigger picture. And review and coaching. So for the 6 months, first 6 months of my term as president, I did not interfere with any of the department. I let them run everything on their own. But when the midterm come, I ask them these few questions. How do you feel about the last 6 months? What have you gained or learned? What are challenges faced by your department or what you see that the club is facing? What do you suggest we can do to resolve the following challenges? So I realized in the midterm review, mentorship pop up among like 5 out of 7 reviews. And that was when I know mentorship is a problem that we tackle it in the later part. So review and coaching is very, very key for a leader. So one of the things that you really want to do is, this is a case study, it will happen in Haider's term. So you see, leaders can get discouraged and low morale as well. We sometimes feel unappreciated. So as a leader, you need to coach them. So one of the exco was feeling like unappreciated. And Haider, who was the president, got us together on the exco meeting. He did this. He told us to take out a piece of paper, write 10 things at least, starting with I appreciate myself for, I thank myself for, I respect myself for doing this. For some members, it was so difficult for them to write. For me, it was like, oh, easy, I can write 20 of them. Really, I appreciate myself for always putting the club interest first, etc., etc. And what I realized was why this exercise, he's trying to coach them to realize that if you rely on external affirmation, it's very tough your life. You need to know how to do internal affirmation. I thought this was a very great way to coach people. So I thought to share this because it was a great case study that I've learned from myself. So these are the 3 factors. And the last one system is just these 4 questions. I'm so sorry I didn't have time to really go through, but generally, the last bit is to lock in everything in place. So ask yourself, what's your system? Does the system promote aligned club culture? And how do you hand over your knowledge bank? So in Tamis Shankat, when I set up the mentorship program, I was very worried that the whole thing will be gone in 1 year. So I set up a resource hub. I video all the trainings. I put it in the resource hub for the mentors and the new mentors to come to learn from them in case one day Kin decided not to continue training. So this is something that I have already backed up. So what is your way to prepare your club for the future? And do you review your system and processes? Think about this. So with that, I just like to end off with this quote. Leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. So continue to build your culture, continue to build your people, and continue to build your system. And together, you build a legacy. With that, back to you, Linda.
Wow, that's a lot of personal experiences. I personally know Su Chen, and I must say that she is more than passionate about Toastmasters, more than passionate. When I was quite new in Toastmasters, in fact, I pulled her aside and say, hey, Su Chen, you're not doing this full time, no? Please focus on your work at AIA. I was very concerned about her career at AIA. I told her that, right, Su Chen?
You still tell me very often nowadays.
But she is very sure of what she's doing, and I'm so happy, and she's doing great and fine at AIA. Top producer for our corporate solution. Now I shall invite back our Division G Director, Margaret, to conduct a moderation, to moderate a discussion with our 2 esteemed presenters this afternoon. Over to you, Margaret.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Linda, I would like to ask the Zoom Master to spotlight our 2 speakers, Su Chen and Siva. Now you have heard a lot of content, a lot of experience, a lot of advice, expert experience, personal experiences, professional advice, coaching tips, the works. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the 2 speakers are here. I'm sure there's a lot of information to digest, but there must be at least one thing that you learned this afternoon. Take it with you and run with you. But I am very certain also that you may have some questions at the back of your mind. I'll give you a few minutes to consolidate your thoughts and share with me some of the curiosities that you have from these 2 speakers. Put your questions in the chat group. I will pick it up and I will present it to the 2 speakers. Now, while you gather your thoughts, are the 2 speakers on lit?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes, they are. They're spotlighted, yes.
You're well lit. All right. Okay, I shall begin the session by presenting this to Siva. Now, Siva, you talked a lot about mentoring the millennia. And amidst these current challenging times, people want to know, is Toastmasters still relevant to them today? Your short answer to that would be?
Siva, you're muted.
I will unmute you. Okay,
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, it is very relevant, more so today than previously. Because if you look around all the members, I don't know about AIA because it has got a huge membership and been around for a long time. But if you look at other clubs that have not been around for too many years, most of the new Toastmasters are all young people. They either just finished their schooling, got over their tertiary education and entered the job market, or they have been working for the last 5 years. So they are in their 30s. Some may be married, some still not married. But you find that these people, they need a venue to express themselves because they grew up in an era where they were taught to just listen and follow. They were not encouraged to think out of the box. They were not encouraged to disagree. And that was required in the previous generation because we were just a growing country. So that we need compliant people to carry out and execute. But now with the younger people, it is different because of the mindset they have, which I've described. They need to express themselves and they need a work-life balance because working and also in their daily affairs, they are always doing something because they need to please somebody. But in Toastmasters, they are given a wide range of subjects to talk about, to express themselves, and to be able to really engage the audience. Just giving a talk alone not enough. They have to interact with the audience, they have to engage them, get their attention. These are things they only learn in Toastmasters. So I think it's very much more relevant today than previously.
Thank you, Siva. So people of today, not necessarily the millennials, because we all, regardless of which age group we are in, we all are faced with the same challenges.
Yeah.
So indeed, Toastmaster is still relevant today because it provides a platform for everybody.
That's right.
To connect, to be connected, to express your thoughts, express their thoughts, their feelings, their ideals. Thank you, Siva.
Because
Now
we are all in the millennium. So whether we like
we're
it
all
or
in the
not.
millennium. Great. Thank you. Now we have one question for Suchan on culture.
Okay.
He says, wow, the culture of excellence is an ideal that we want to uphold. However, it is also a challenge to uphold in some instances and to be sustainable. Now, as a leader, we have that pressure. How do we strike a balance in to create an environment that is able to drive to excellence, towards excellence, but able to balance it with our personal needs and members' needs? Over to you, Sujan.
This is a very, very good question. Let me think about it. How do you balance that? I think that what I will typically do is that at the end of the day, I point it out to letting people understand when they do this. Remember, it's about aligning of their personal goals to their to the corporate or the organization goals. So I realized that when they can see that this is helping them in another part of their life, which is also important, their personal needs, and that's probably career and family, they can see how why they need to do this role. For example, like in leadership, I learned how to communicate even more effectively, because really giving feedback is such a difficult thing when you don't want to be offensive, but yeah, you need the person to move, I mean, like move please. And sometimes when you are, giving feedback to your child, don't you think that it's also very difficult? Pack your room, nothing happens. So I realized that really some of these, when I was in a leadership role, and if I can tell them that, hey, when you perform some of these tasks, yeah, this is excellence, but when you conduct this, you will learn these lessons that will help you in whether your work life or in your personal life or family life. They realize that, hey, in the end, they save more time because they can focus on what's important, because they're more efficient in getting some of these things done in the workplace and their family life. So that's how I always point back to aligning values to the overall organization goals. So I think that's how I have been able to really motivate people to uphold the good values that both clubs has, by aligning them. Yeah, so that's how I balance it. But of course,
so bringing the member back to the original corporate goals, which is excellence in both cases.
And remember, in my onboarding process for leadership, right? Whether it's a mentor, whether it's an exco, remember the 3 questions that I asked? These are very key for me. And actually, these 3 questions came from Kin Fong when he was the president. But it was so important that we continued term after term after term until even to this term. Because when things goes wrong, obviously we all like to say a lot of things, but we always point them back to what was your original intention. You already know that this was the role that you signed up for, you know what I mean? But back then, you must have an idea what you wanted to achieve through this role. Remember the question, what do you hope to get out of this role? And I will point them back and see that, is this not happening for you? How can we make this more balanced for you so that you can attain both family and personal as well as Toastmasters goals? That's what I will do.
Great. Besides aligning the goals, the individual goals back to the corporate goals of excellence, what you've also done is to communicate the idea besides the function that he performs in his role, he also benefits at the individual level.
Yeah. So in that
because he's learned to be a more efficient person, more communicative leader.
Yeah.
So these are practice grounds for him so that he can sharpen his sword and be the better version that he came to be.
Correct.
Thank you.
So for example, okay, now, do you want me to give an example? So because I just gave a quick example that came out of my mind.
In short, yeah.
So, yeah. So Kin had a VPBR who was a student then who wanted to try out branding and marketing. So Kin said, okay, let you design all the marketing collateral, the name card and everything. So she tested all her concept because she's into branding and marketing. That's her scope of study. And so of course, when she came out to work, she had a lot more experience than anybody because she already tested it in the club itself, in the organization, and got feedback on it. So these are, how you can balance things if you can align that.
Thanks, Shu-Chen. We have time for one more question, one last question. Terence, you look like you have something to ask, please.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
No. I have an announcement to make later. I'm thinking what to say. Because you tai chi to me, remember?
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, our 2 panel speakers. We've garnered a lot of knowledge from you, and we certainly need some time to digest it. But thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experience in all of this. I would like for us to put our hands together to thank the 2 speakers, Siva-Nisan and Jo Shu-Chen, for taking the time off to share their personal experience, their professional experience in today's workshop.
Thank you.
Next off, thank you. Next off, I'll hand the time back to Toastmaster of the day. She's still here.
Wow. This is learning to handle. Okay. Let's have the slides for the announcement. Thank you so much, Margaret, for helping us to pick the brains of our 2 experts. Definitely, those are useful and helpful tips that we can implement immediately. But Shu-Chen really has set a very high standard. Okay. Now, our next, the final session, the 5th session of this leadership incubator will be on the 26th of February. This session will be a bit different. Margaret, do you have the detailed program for this one?
I think Terence will be able to furnish us with more details.
Is Terence still there? I know he has to run too.
I'm here.
Okay, you give us the details. Thank you.
Well, let's lift my weight out of it. I know I have to exercise. But anyway, running included. Okay, so the 5th session is basically the culmination of the first 4. If you've been to all 4, right, like Nora and everything, we thank you for your support. You realize that there is a pattern to what we're doing. We are speaking about starting it, establishing it, and passing leadership on. The whole process is part of something greater. Now, the 5th session is going to be special because you're going to get Margaret Page to come down. So I can play around with Margaret Low and Margaret Page. Margaret Page is the international president of Toastmasters, although Margaret Low always demotes her to director. So she'll be here and we'll pick her brains a bit because we want to know what's the direction of Toastmasters for all of us. As you know, there's a lot of discussions at Toastmasters International, and I think from the Singapore context, it's normally just the district director and a few of us like myself, they are speaking to them about the direction of Toastmasters. The thing is that Toastmasters International only gives you a general direction. Everything is devolved locally. This is us taking control of the destinies of our clubs and our own Toastmasters journey. And we're going to bring back all the trainers, all the speakers, including myself. What you're going to do is that we're going to cover in a few minutes just the 3 points, a gist of what was covered, and then we go into the next direction. Now that we have all this, where do we go from here? Otherwise, this program is for naught. It's just for show. It is not. Wherever we start, we know where we are. We have to speak about where we are going. And basically, that's for that. Over to you, Linda. Not Linda, sorry, Margaret, for your closing address.
Thank you, Terence. We hope to see all of you there. The information of the registration will be out shortly through your area directors and the division directors. Now, I would like to bring forward the COT, Catherine, the COT 2 that's coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, we talked a lot about leadership and we talked about training the leadership members to take on the leadership position. Now, the upcoming Club Officers Training 2 is happening on the 8th of January on a Saturday between 1:30 to 6 p.m. Now, this is a program curated to train existing club officers in the second half of the term. What are the areas that we can continue to build the club? One of which is creating that experience, that membership experience that Suchan and Siva talked about, something that will draw them to Toastmasters, something that will help them stay in the club and they can develop themselves as individuals and also bring diversity to the club. Terence will again speak on leadership and succession. Now, with the second half of the term in place, how are you going to pass on this legacy to the next term? He will talk a little bit about the leadership selection, grooming them, and preparing them for the succession. Wiki will also touch on some of the challenges that the club has faced. Some of them are perennial. We see them day in, day out. What has changed? The people has changed. The leadership has changed. How do we cope with these new challenges in the face of the current situation? Come and join us. All members are welcome. This program is designed for existing club officers, but you and I know within your team, there are people that are ready to step up. Invite them on board, let them have an idea what to expect in the coming term. It's open to all members and we hope to see you there. And this is crafted by Division G, for Division G. Now, fellow leaders, you have learned much today. Let not your learning lead to knowledge only. Let your learning lead to action. You are the leaders, lead us into action. With that, I would like to thank the charismatic and the chirpy Linda Lee for helming the event this afternoon as the Toastmaster of the day. I'd like to thank also immediate past Region 13 advisor, Distinguished Toastmaster Po Kim Seong, for gracing the occasion, as well as District Director Kathy To and District Finance Manager Nora for gracing this afternoon's training. Both of our district leaders have been very supportive of our series of programs, and they were here to support us at every workshop. I would like to invite Kathy to say a few words before we close for the afternoon. District Director Kathy, there we go.
Very good afternoon to everyone. I hope you can hear me. Great.
Yes.
Now we are almost towards the end of the leadership incubation, but what's next after incubation? Because you need to take action and put that into practice, because our call for nominations is already open and we'll call interested parties who like to take up leadership roles in next term district leadership. Okay, like we shared in District 80, a division director, club growth director, program quality director, district directors, these are elected positions. But beyond that, appointed leaders, area directors, and the rest of the SDO teams, these are appointed officers. But if you are willing to serve, do not wait for people to call upon you. Please submit your nomination, put in your name, or just take up a club leadership role. We have to start somewhere. You have listened to what Shooter has shared with us. You listen to what Simonson has shared with us. Leadership starts from within. You have to make that change and start the ball rolling. Leadership incubator, I hope it doesn't stay as an incubator, because we want to see the next generation of leaders taking up the role and bring District 80 to greater heights. And with that, I'll pass the mic back to Margaret. Thank you.
Pass here. Thank you, Didi, Kathy. Okay, finally, but not least, let's not forget the lovely Zoom master, Catherine Galantis. Thank you, Catherine, for being so diligent this afternoon. All right, everyone, with that, we've come to the end of our segment this afternoon. I'll see you on the 26th of February for the final installation, the grand finale of the Leadership Incubator. Have a wonderful afternoon. Merry Christmas, blessed Christmas, and let us all finish strong for 2021. I will see you back here in 2022. 8th of January, 2022, the COT2. Have a fabulous evening, everyone.
Bye-bye. Margaret, where's our Christmas gift?
Where are you? Who's this?
Me.
Who said that?
Susan, disturb you only. Everybody will start asking.
Bye. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Bye. Christmas gifts coming on Christmas.
Bye, Kathy. See you next year.
See you.
Jackson, show yourself.
Jackson is here.
Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson.